This is a biggie, guys. Good for tin key explorer people, scruffs and history buffs. Seabank Tank Farm, Invergordon, in the Scottish Highlands. You won't remember it, because you were probably just a twinkle in your mother's eye, or worse, your mother wasn't even born then. We start at the year 1938, the day the tanks were born. Up the hill from these tanks, a vast underground storage network for near crude oil was constructed. This was a secret place, unlike the tanks, that stick out like a load of sore thumbs. Hollow sore thumbs. Thumbs are not hollow. Why do they say such a thing? If your thumb is sore, it is not more visible than your other thumb. Only the British could think of such a phrase. This tank farm is the surviving one, but only just. Cromlett Tank Farm was its sister. She has now been disassembled to make way for houses, and they are not a bonny sight. The surviving tanks are awesome in scale, even more awesome in this day and age to be abandoned, when so much unused buildings have been converted into shiny redeveloped properties nowadays. Each tank could hold around 3 million gallons. You may know or not know, but Invergordon is a major stop-off for hordes of wealthy cruise ship tourists, who are unloaded onto the streets of this rather tatty town. They wander about aimlessly, confused, wondering why there are no facilities to extract their money. Fun fact, a cruise ship will devour around 3,500 gallons of fuel per hour, so one of these old tanks would provide 857 hours of glorious sailing fuel for the cruise ships that come into this port. That's a whole 35 days of 24/7 sailing. So if you go on a cruise, think of the environment, sail for a month and you've helped empty almost a whole tank of fuel. Who cares, eh? Sailing is fun, guys. I can't wait any longer. I'm going into a tank. I'm gonna test my wonderful feminine acoustics. Hold your ears. Don't try this at home, guys and gals. Here we go, we're going in. It smells of poop in here, not oil. Now, you may know that I like to sing a little. I'm not going to hold back here, so let's go. Let's get some fresh air, let's fly above these monster tanks. Now, although the Ministry of Defense no longer own this place, it's still a dangerous place to be around. Although I'm advising that it is not safe, that you should not go into this awesome place, etc., etc., the very fact that I went in means it would be slyly hypocritical to advise you not to go in. So, whatever, none of my business, not my monkeys, not my circus. Almost all of these tanks are metal, but there are 2 or 3 that are made of brick. I assume these to be earlier versions. There are connecting pipes, each tank is interlinked. Such a wonderful location. A large distillery can be seen at the top of the video. Invergordon Distillery is a relatively new distillery, created in 1961. Enough of that anyway. The mod sold the Seabank oil tank farm at the same time it sold the Admiralty Pier, which is now used for the cruise ships. With the pier there was expected to be great benefits, but the Seabank tank site was the burden, the bad neighbor, the boy hanging off the leg impeding your movement when going for a stroll. The site has indeed been a burden. The pollution from previous activities mean that the clear-up will literally cost many millions. To stop feminists like me from clambering up to the top of these hulks and shouting about women's rights, some busybodies have installed barbed wire all the way up the steps. Now when I clamber up, I'm going to shout about the brutality of it all. I'm not going into this building. It looks very exciting. It has an abandoned truck in it and lots of other exciting paraphernalia, but it's locked, and looks a bit dangerous for a dainty wee lassie like me. Toddling about, I can see that steps and other equipment have been added at later dates. Imagine a scrap metal merchant in this place. It would be like a boy at the fair. The bad, or good thing here is, Historic Environment Scotland are looking at registering the site as a historically important one, which means for the moment and possibly forever, the tanks will stay where they are, which in my view is great, because in a town like Invergordon where there is little to do, there will officially be a place to visit, and this place is awesome. Pump houses are sporadically placed through the site to move oil from the site to the pier and to fuel trucks, where the fuel would be taken away and used for ships, furnaces and other stuff that I know nothing about. Metal always survives the weather, breaking down only slowly, whilst the coverings of roofs start peeling off and falling down into the ground, merging and sinking, disappearing. Metal moves down the way due to its weight, but slowly. Only the bricks and metal are likely to survive in the future, then the cement in between the bricks will erode, basically knackering the whole place. What a riot. The brick tanks are the coolest. Each brick has been placed in position by hand. This place is cool. Imagine decontaminating all of the tanks and turning them into acoustic rooms, hotels, homes and businesses inside of the tanks, windows out of the metal. Grassy paths between the buildings, like a town from converted oil tanks. That would be spectacular. One Scottish National Party do-gooder, a lady called Councillor Maxine Smith, wants to remove these tanks and build houses. Now the British are not so good at creating attractive housing, and the song Little Boxes comes to my mind. The song is a social satire about the development of suburbia and associated conformist middle-class attitudes. It mocks suburban tract housing as little boxes of different colors all made out of ticky-tacky, and which all look just the same. Imagine destroying this magnificent site and creating lots of little boxes. That would just be awful. The building that you see is a large pump house. The oil would come down to here from the chin-down tanks. The liquid would have to be heated on the way down. This would reduce the viscosity of the liquid, allowing it to move more efficiently. It looks like a big storm has passed through the pump house, a tornado, but this is what the weather does to anything that we don't maintain. Perhaps local kids have ravaged this equipment. Who didn't love hanging out in cool places like this when we were kids, right? There are paths across this site, but some areas are quite treacherous due to lack of paths and steep embankments. The first 10 tanks at the Seabank tank farm were constructed prior to World War I to provide fuel for naval ships who used the port at Invergordon, with the first shipments received in 1913. Graffiti is evident everywhere here. The work is quite fabulous, none of that naff tag stuff. These are hardcore artistic graffiti pieces. A big up to the boys and girls with the paint tins. The Naval Institute was designed in 1914 by Edinburgh architect Stuart Kay in anticipation of the First World War. The naval base was the venue for the Invergordon Mutiny of 1931. Remains of the naval base are evidenced here at the tank farm lying behind the town centre. The port used to contain fuel oil and water supplies for naval ships. One German bomb hit one of the tanks during the Second World War when a large flying boat base occupied much of the northerly coast of the Cromarty Firth. The naval base closed in 1956. On the 27th to 28th of May 1957, the Royal Navy held a fleet review in the waters off the town. The ponds are known to be really polluted with oil as well as other contaminants. Local kids are rumored to skate on this dangerous water in winter when it has frozen up. How utterly dangerous. The local council have made no effort to secure the place or press the owners into securing it. The town looks in some ways sad, but a facility like this could be of immense interest if it were to be turned into a themed town. Imagine working in a big building like one of these tanks, the roof converted to glass, balconies constructed on the outsides, all the way around. Since 1978, the former naval base has been used as a deep-water port which has been visited by many large cruise liners and allows disembarkation for coach tours in the Northern Highlands. The port renewed its military connections in the summer of 2017, when it was visited by the new aircraft carrier HMS Queen Elizabeth during her sea trials. On the 19th of June 2021, the last of the Batch 2 River-class offshore patrol vessel, HMS Spey, was commissioned at a ceremony at the former naval base. The Royal Marines Band service was at the ceremony providing musical support. Let's take a closer look at the graffiti. The earliest graffiti was created prior to written language, and the first drawings on walls appeared in caves thousands of years ago. Cueva de las Manos, located in Santa Cruz, Argentina, offers one of the first fascinating ancient graffiti. The painting dates from 13,000 to 9,000 BCE. I have to say, I am impressed by the graffiti, something nice about the colors and story that the images may portray. I tried graffiti once in the school toilets in the 80s. I got caught by the janitor and ended up spending the rest of the week writing lines on a book, "I must not draw on the bathroom walls," over and over again. I gave up my career as an artist after that stint. As well as oil, many of these tanks used to hold water. The water was used as drinking water, water to wash the decks of boats and whatever else they needed it for. Many a cruise ship goers will simply overlook this place, instead wandering around much of this dilapidated town looking to spend their hard-earned cash, but not me, I'm an adventurer.